चैतन्यभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखावितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तु ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानु सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरे प्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept our humble obeisances on behalf of everybody who have joined the group and are about to join and will join later on. Mataji, we are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 3, Chapter 1, and the text for today, Mataji, is text 32. So over to you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. We have just finished the Mangala.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji and Prabhuji. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to do this service. First of all, I'll apologize. I might be constantly sneezing, and so if I do stop or if a sneeze comes or a cough comes, I'll just quickly switch myself off audio and video. So apologies beforehand for it. So and hopefully I'll be okay during the next hour. We are reading Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3, Chapter 1, verse 32, as Mataji said. Again, a very, very beautiful verse. So thank you very much again. So before starting, I pay my obeisances to my Gurudev, who without his mercy, I wouldn't have been able to do the service. And I seek the blessings and mercy of Radharani and Krishna and my Guru and all the Jagat Gurus. And I seek all of your blessings as well, so that I'm able to share with you what has been given to us in Srimad Bhagavatam through Srila Prabhupada. If I do make any mistakes, please do forgive me. So let's read the verse first. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Kachit Buddha Shwasti Anamiva Aste Swapal Ke Putro Bhagavat Prapanna Ya Krishna Padan Kita Marga Pamsushya Acheshtata Prema Vipinna Dhairya. Translation. Please tell me whether Akrura, the son of Swapalka, is doing well. He is a faultless soul surrendered unto the personality of Godhead. He once lost his mental equilibrium due to his ecstasy of transcendental love and fell down on the dust of a road which was marked with the footprints of Lord Krishna. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. When Akrura came to Vrindavan in search of Krishna, he saw the footprints of the Lord on the dust of Nandagrama and at once fell on them in ecstasy of transcendental love. This ecstasy is possible for a devotee who is fully absorbed in incessant thoughts of Krishna. Such a pure devotee of the Lord is naturally faultless because he's always associated with the supremely pure personality of Godhead. Constant thought of the Lord is the antiseptic method for keeping oneself free from the infectious contamination of the material qualities. The pure devotee of the Lord is always in company with the Lord by thinking of him. Yet, in the particular context of time and place, the transcendental emotions take a different turn, and this breaks the mental equilibrium of the devotee. Lord Chaitanya displayed the typical example of transcendental ecstasy as we can understand from the life of this incarnation of God. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay. So this is a continuation of where Vidura is asking Uddhava about the well-being of many people. And in this verse, we see that he is asking Uddhava about Akrura. So the main theme in this verse is about Akrura coming to Vrindavan and the kind of mood and consciousness he is in. And what lesson can that be to us when we go to Adham, when we go to Vrindavan? What should be in our thoughts and our feelings? What prayers should we offer as we go towards Vrindavan? Because Vrindavan is not an ordinary place, even if it looks like an ordinary place. And now we understand from the various shastras and from from devotees, elevated devotees, we understand that Vrindavan is definitely an actual place, but it is a transcendental place. And therefore, Vrindavan is actually a state of consciousness. It's a place, but it's more like a state of consciousness. So if one is Krishna conscious, then one is said to be in Vrindavan. And wherever one may be physically, one can be in Vrindavan. And that is the ultimate goal of our life. So we see Vrindavan is the physical place, but it's also a state of mind, a state of consciousness, and it's also the ultimate goal towards which we should aspire for, endeavor for. And so all of this comes together when we think of Akrura and his reactions when we when he went to Vrindavan. And in this verse, Vidura is specifically mentioning that, and he mentions Akrura's ecstatic state as he reaches Vrindavan. And by doing so, what Vidura is also, and the purport and the verse is trying to draw our attention towards the fact that consider Vrindavan, consider the Dhams as physical places, but what we are really looking towards is the mood with which we need to practice our visit to Vrindavan, our visit to the Dhams, and more more importantly, what mood we should be, what prayers we should offer when we are seeking to get the association of the Lord himself. So the verse starts with, Vidura asking Uddhava, please tell me whether Akrura, the son of Swabhalka, is doing well. So let's read the first sentence. The first line says, he was the son of Swabhalka. Now we understand great souls have, we've seen great devotees. They also have great devotee children. And we see the same in Akrura's case as well. His father was Swabhalka, who was a great Yadava king. It was it was divinely ordained that there would be no epidemics and drought in the place where Swabhalka lived. He was such a great personality. Now once there was no rain for a period of 3 years in the land where Swabhalka lived, in Kashi. So in Kashi. So once there was no rain in the land of Kashi. So the king of Kashi took Swabhalka with him to his country. And with his arrival, as soon as Swabhalka arrived in the land of Kashi, rainfall started. And the king was so pleased that he gave his daughter Gandhini in marriage to Swabhalka. So Swabhalka was a great devotee, a great Yadava king of Vrishni, and he was so great that it was ordained, divinely ordained, that there won't be any famine, no drought wherever he lived. And so he brought rain in the land of Kashi, and he also got the daughter of Kashi Raj, or the king of Kashi, as his wife. Now the name of this daughter was Gandhini. So Gandhini was Akrura's mother. And Gandhini was also a very, very special person. And it's said that Gandhini remained in her mother's womb for many, many years. So at last, the king of Kashi, he called to the child in the womb and said, please take birth right now. How long are you going to remain in there in the womb? And the child from inside the womb replied that I will only come out if you allow me to offer a cow as a gift every single day. And so the king of Kashi said okay to that, and he allowed that and promised to do that. And so the child Gandhini was born. So she used to offer the brahmanas cows every single day. Such a great lover of the Lord she was, knowing that the cows were are the favorites of the Lord. So after Gandhini married Swabhalka, they had several sons, including Akrura. So we can see that Akrura, in him, he had great parentage. He had great devotees as his parents. So then we also see, we are told about Akrura's state of how Akrura behaved. But even before that, the second line, so the first line of the verse talks about that he was the son of Swabhalka. Now, what does he say? What does the second line says, and what is Vidura asking Uddhava over here? He starts saying, is Akrura okay? And what type of a person is Akrura? And it said over here in the second line that he's a faultless soul surrendered unto the personality of Godhead. He's a faultless soul. So the purport says over here, he's a supreme devotee. He's completely surrendered to the Lord. Kachit, that's the word, Buddha. These are the words used. Very learned. Okay, he's anamivaha, faultless. These are the words used in the verse to talk about Akrura. So he's not just faultless, he's not just completely surrendered unto the Lord, but he's actually very, very learned. He's very educated in spiritual subjects, and he's a completely pure soul, completely pure soul. And when he had ecstatic symptoms, and that is what we are, and immediately after, talking about what are the qualities of Akrura, we are immediately told that, he's a pure soul, very learned in spiritual matters, and he had ecstatic symptoms when he visited Vraj, when he visited Vrindavan. Now, when when Kamsa ordered Akrura to go to Vrindavan, Akrura took that as an opportunity to see the Lord himself in person. So although it was not although he knew what Kamsa had in his mind, he still took up the job of doing the not very nice task of getting Krishna from Vrindavan to Mathura, where he will be meeting his uncle who's getting ready to kill him. He had complete faith in the Lord, that the Lord is going to reign supreme at all times, because he's the absolute, the supreme personality of Godhead. And he took up this opportunity to go and meet Krishna. In our last class, in the previous class or the one before that, I think we talked about what are the kinds of things that Akrura were thinking about whilst he was on his way to Vrindavan. Now, between Mathura and Vrindavan, it probably takes about half a day. But it took Akrura started in the morning, and it was evening before he actually reached Vrindavan. It took him almost a day to reach Vrindavan. He lost his way because he had all these thoughts in his minds. And to quickly recap, what were the things he was thinking about? He was thinking about how fortunate he is, what great things he must have done, what pious work or karma he must have done to have accrued so much of good karma that he's now being allowed to see the Lord in person. And then immediately he was thinking, but okay, I've been given this opportunity to see the Lord, but am I really qualified to see the Lord? I'm not even, like a dust. How can I be qualified, to see the Lord? I'm such a fallen soul. So he was having all kinds of, doubts that, I've been given this task, but am I really qualified to see the Lord in person? And then immediately afterwards, he thought, no, let me not think negatively. Let me be positive and take up this opportunity to render my devotional services to the Lord, to pray to the Lord further, to pay my obeisances, to pray to the Lord in person. This actually has given me the opportunity. So let me not be let me not be negative about this. And so he thought, whilst I'm going to Vrindavan, devotional thoughts should always be in the mind. And so when he reached, it took him all that time. It took him, almost a whole day to actually reach Vrindavan, although it takes only half a day to reach there. But he reached Vrindavan. And then when he saw the footprints of Krishna, he saw the dust of Vrindavan, and he saw the footprints of Krishna on the dust. He rushed down from his chariot, and he started applying that dust on his head, on his face, and he just became ecstatic. His mental equilibrium that was disturbed. He just didn't know what he was doing. He was rolling on the grass, he was laughing, he was crying, and he lost all his external consciousness. And he was completely and totally lost in transcendental love. And these were the points, and this is what Vidura is referring to when he mentions in the verse that, you know, he lost his mental equilibrium due to his ecstasy of transcendental love and fell down on the dust of a road which was marked with the footprints of Krishna. And that is what that is what Vidura refers to over here. And the purport tells us that, you know, he was such a pure devotee that he always thought himself to be associated with Krishna. Now, we also see in Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna talks to Arjuna about a pure devotee, a true devotee, such a devotee is one who always thinks of himself or herself to be in the company of Krishna. They are never disassociated from Krishna. They are always thinking, always remembering Krishna and never forgetting Krishna. And that is their entire life. Their thoughts are constant thoughts of the Lord. And that is how they keep themselves free from the onslaught of Maya and being captured by Maya, because they are constantly in the company of Krishna himself. And when one is in the company of Krishna, Maya does not dare to come there. Maya has no entry over there. And so that is what a pure devotee means. And such is a devotee who, when they see the Lord, they have ecstatic symptoms of transcendental love, of transcendental ecstasy, as we can see over here in Akrura. Now, in the Nectar of Devotion, such eagerness, this huge eagerness to be with the Lord, to see the Lord, to be in the company of the Lord at all times, this extremely huge eagerness is called Samutkanta. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it properly. Samutkanta. Utkanta means eagerness, and sam refers to being complete. So the total eagerness, the complete eagerness to see Krishna, that's Samutkanta. That is what Akrura felt, to be able to just wanting to see Krishna, just to be with him. And so such a devotee, we are told they have only one desire, and that's not a material desire, but their desire is just to be with the Lord. And they have only one vice. And what is that vice? They have extreme, extreme, extreme greed. And I say vice within quotation because this greed they have is for Krishna Prem. The greed they have is to be able to serve the Lord. And so the greed, which is you know, a negative emotion in the material world, it becomes purified and pure when it goes, when it is exhibited by pure devotees like Akrura or Vidura, or any pure devotee, because they use even the negative emotions in their hands. In their emotions, they become absolutely pure, because all their emotions are completely and totally channelized towards Krishna. So their greed, they have this extreme greed to be with Krishna, to see Krishna. And we are told in the Nectar of Devotion that even a lot of pious activity does not give one Krishna Prem, Krishna Prem does not come from just acquiring knowledge. We've seen that in Bhagavad Gita as well. Krishna tells Arjuna so many times that, one cannot, the Gyanis, they cannot achieve Krishna Prem. They can read all the Vedas. They can read all the Vedas. Krishna refers to the Trivedis, the people, the Brahmanas who were conversant with 3 Vedas, and there are the Chaturvedis, the Brahmanas who are conversant with all the 4 Vedas. And Krishna refers to the Trivedis in chapter 9, I think, in Bhagavad Gita. And he says to Arjuna, but Arjuna, they have all the knowledge of the Vedas, but they still can't get me. They can know me theoretically, but they cannot get me. They cannot be with me. They cannot have this sweet exchange of rasas or transcendental love between me and them, because that can only come from pure love, from wanting to serve the Lord through pure devotion. And just knowledge doesn't give that. Similarly, just pious activities, one can do a lot of pious activities, doing good to others, doing a lot of charity. One can accrue a lot of pious, good karma based on a lot of good things that they might have done. But that does not give them Krishna Prem. So the ecstatic symptoms that it can be seen in Akrura, that is referred to over here, and later on we are also seeing the Purport also mentions Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we'll come to that discussion a bit later. Such ecstatic love cannot be had by people who are just just very conversant with what Krishna consciousness is, or just do a lot of deity worship, or just do puja, or just do or just want to know Krishna theoretically. It can only be received, and it can only be experienced by the absolutely pure devotees who think of themselves to be what we are told by Sanatana Goswami, Jiver Swarupai Krishna Nitya Das. This is what they believe in, that we are Nitya Das of Krishna. We are the servant, not just of Krishna, we are the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant, as Mahaprabhu says. So this is the mood of people who are able to experience such ecstatic love. So we are being told that not anybody and everybody can experience such love. And so what is the qualification? Yes, we've just covered that certain, they have to love Krishna completely, and they are faultless and they are pure in their love. So what are these symptoms? So we are being told this is that they have these ecstatic symptoms. We are told over here in the verse and also in the purport. So what are these ecstatic symptoms? And it's called, and we are told that when one experiences such ecstatic symptoms, it's called Ashta Swastika Vikara. Ashta, the 8, Ashta Satvika Vikara, sorry, not swastika. So it's the Ashta Satvika Vikara. So Ashta is the 8 kinds of different types of experience, or types of external symptoms or internal and external symptoms that one can see when they feel this transcendental ecstasy. So Akrura was rolling on the grounds. He just lost himself. He didn't know what he was doing. So what are these symptoms? What does people do? What really happens to them, to such pure devotees when they go through this? So let's have a little look into that. So we understand that unless and until a devotee really attains pure devotion and reaches the stage of a sadhaka, one who's practicing Krishna consciousness, he cannot really qualify to experience rasa. Now we understand there are the 5 transcendental rasas in Vrindavan. The 5 primary rasa. There are 7 secondary rasas, which comes and goes, but there are the 5 permanent primary rasas: the Shantaras, neutrality, the Dasya ras, which is that of a master and servant. Then it's Sakyaras, that is of a friendship, rasa of friendship. Then Vatsalya ras, which is rasa of parent and child. And the last one is Madhurya ras, which is the rasa of conjugal love. And we are told that, unless and until a devotee really thinks of Krishna in as one's own, as one would treat as not just somebody just to worship, okay, just to go to the temple. This is the Lord, let me just worship and then forget about him later on. When I'm in need, when I'm in distress, or I need something, or I just need some knowledge to gain, I'm just going to go and worship. No. A devotee is one, a sadhaka is one who really wants to, who really thinks of Krishna in one of these rasas, thinks of Krishna as one's own, either as a master or as a friend or as a, or as a son or a daughter. I mean, we've talked many a times how we have seen many devotees, they treat their Bal Gopal as their own child. We see of many devotees wanting to marry Krishna. We know of the great devotee Mirabai. She was told Krishna is your husband, and her entire life she did not, although materially she was married, but she considered Krishna to be her husband right through her life. So we see that to be a true sadhaka, one really has to think of Krishna as one's own, as just a family member. And I think I have, I was mentioning this the other day, where we were talking about how a little child, once put his Gopal in the fridge because he was thinking, oh, we are in the AC room, and Gopal is in a room where there is no AC. So the little boy put Gopal in the fridge just because he wanted Gopal to be cold, to be a bit cool. And that's thinking of Gopal as his own family member, just as him and his parents were in AC rooms in the heat and in summer, during summer. The little boy wanted Krishna to be comfortable as well. And that is how, you think of Krishna as your own. Just as, we see Shabri, the great devotee Shabri, she used to taste the fruit first, check whether it's bitter or sweet, and then keep it for Lord Rama. She didn't even think twice that, oh my gosh, I'm going to offer this fruit to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How can I even think of making it, biting it? No, what she wanted to do was she wanted to offer the best to the Lord, because she thought of the Lord as her own. And if you think of somebody as your own, you want to do the best for that person. And so she wanted to give sweet fruits to the Lord. And the Lord accepts that. The Lord sees the love of his devotees. He does not see what is being offered or how grand the offerings are. All he sees is the love, that rasa, that sweet exchange of transcendental love. And so we see A sadhaka experiences qualified to is a devotee who has this attraction for Krishna. Now, initially, they may not be completely free from all the anarthas, which are the material impurities, but they are not a neophyte devotee. A neophyte devotee is someone who engages in just deity worship in the temple, and then, you know, they might do a lot of pujas, but then in real life, they behave improperly with others. And such a person is not qualified to relish rasa, or relish divine mellows, or relish that connection with the Lord. Now, we also see that these are sadhakas, and then we see siddhas. And the siddhas are devotees whose activities are completely and solely revolve around Krishna. And they always crave to relish this Krishna prema, Krishna bhakti rasa, whichever rasa they have with Krishna. They always want to relish that. And the siddhas, they have actually attained the perfection in their devotional lives, either through sadhana, which is devotional practice, or through kripa. Kripa is mercy of exalted souls, just like Jagai and Madai. They got the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and they became devotees. Or else they are just eternally perfected souls. They are the Nitya Siddhas. Nitya Siddha, Nitya, daily, the eternal associates of Krishna. And Krishna, whenever he incarnates in human form, he always brings his Nitya Siddha. We will be reading about Lord Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu is also mentioned in the purport. And we know that when Mahaprabhu, he actually showed ecstatic symptoms, he used to, there was Swarup Damodar, who would really try to bring Mahaprabhu back to his consciousness. Swarup Damodar, he's a Nitya Siddha. Why? Because he's just an avatar. He's an avatar of Lalita Sakhi in Vrindavan. So the Nitya Siddhas are the eternal associates of the Lord. So we see that the siddhas, the Nitya Siddhas, and the truly devoted people, the sadhakas, they are the one who are able to enter into the rasa. Once one enters into the rasas, the more advanced one is, the more one goes towards that feeling of ecstatic love. And so that is how not everybody can really enjoy that ecstatic symptom or ecstatic love. So Krishna is the root cause of divine love. And so when he sees that love for him in devotees, that is when there is that exchange of love which arises those ecstatic symptoms. So over here, we have to pause for a second, and we really have to check ourselves when we use the word love, because the word love is so much misused in the world nowadays. What we see in this material world is most of the time, if not all the time, is just mundane love. And that mundane love is insufficient to have such kind of ecstatic symptoms towards Krishna. Mundane love, it declines and it slowly disappears when the lovers separate. Mundane love, it only manifests as pleasure when the lovers are together. But as soon as the lovers separate, it becomes painful, and many a times, the lovers split. And we see, so many divorces happening nowadays, or so many breakups happening nowadays. But the rasas, or the mellows of divine love, they are self-manifest. It arises, it comes from the devotee. The devotee wants to love Krishna. It starts with the devotee's want to love Krishna. And it becomes, when the more it grows, the more uninterrupted it becomes. Ahaituki apratihata. It becomes unmotivated and continuous, as we are told in Srimad Bhagavatam. And its root is in bhakti, in transcendence. And so, in the case of love towards Krishna, that this divine love, it reaches its absolute pinnacle when the lovers are separated. So we talked about Vipralamba love, Vipralamba rasa last time, and we see even in separation that love is supreme, because even in separation the lovers feel as one. And that is what gives that nectarian bliss. So when we hear about, Akrura or Mahaprabhu, they experience this love, extreme ecstasy. Ecstasy is a feeling of happiness. But they are not in front of the Lord. Akrura had not yet seen Krishna, and he felt that ecstasy. So they were experiencing that unique love of oneness despite being separate. So that's the pinnacle of love, where the lovers, they feel they are one despite being separate, and the devotees feel they are one with Krishna even though they are separated from Krishna. And so such love, such rasa cannot really be comprehended by just, a mundane intellect, by material intellect, because it is transcendental. It is incomprehensible by just, any normal devotee who does not connect with Krishna. It is only experienced by very, very elevated devotees who are constantly with Krishna at all times, despite being separate. So what are these symptoms? These Ashta, 8, Sattvika Vikara. So these are called, so that's the state of consciousness, or known as Sattvika, Sattva, it's pure, Bhava, or the mood. And these symptoms are primarily 8 in number, and that is the reason they are called Ashta Sattvika Vikara. And they include being stunned, that's in Sanskrit, it's thamba, perspiring, or shveda. Number 3, having the bodily hairs standing on their end, in Sanskrit called romancha. Number 4, faltering of one's voice, called swara bheda. Number 5, trembling or vapatu. Number 6, fading of the body's color, so becoming very pale, or in Sanskrit, vaivarna. Then number 7, tears rolling down, incontrollably, in Sanskrit, ashru. And the last is absolute devastation, feeling of devastation, or pralaya. So when a pure devotee experiences these sattvika bhava, his consciousness is united with his life energy, or the prana. So the prana is then placed in an unnatural condition that causes all these perturbations in the external body. And, when it happens in, continuously, it results in, sometimes it also, people, devotees show symptoms like, perspiration or temporary paralysis as well. Such is the height of devotion. So we understand that, and it gets a bit slightly technical over here, so I'll go through this not in very details, but quickly, but please stop me if I'm going too fast. So I'm just going to pause here just for a second if there are any questions so far. Any questions?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I don't think there are any questions. Are there any questions from the group?
Shall I continue?
Yes, Mataji, kindly continue.
Thank you. So, in Canto 2, we had read about the prana or the life air when we were reading about the Viratri. So the life air, being air, it's also one of the 5 gross material elements. Remember, we have 5 gross material elements, which starts in this material world, the absolute raw ingredients which make up the material universe: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Now, under ordinary circumstances, the life energy moves upon the life air in a balanced manner. They are inside our body. But when the consciousness of a devotee is surged by feelings of divine love, this balance of the prana or the life air inside us, this balance is disturbed. That equilibrium is disturbed. And during these conditions, the prana, the life air, mixes with the other gross elements. So primarily it's life air, it's air. But when the devotee shows this surge of feelings, and the air, that life air becomes disturbed, and it combines with earth. Sometimes it combines with earth. When it combines with earth, the symptoms of being stunned happens. When it combines with water, tears happen. When it combines with fire, perspiration happens. And when it combines with ether, we see those devotees, they are swooning, or they become unconscious. Such is the effect. So that is what happens, within the body. And so, so what we get is, when all these things are happening inside the body, and, trembling and tears and, feeling of unconsciousness, the voice starts faltering, the voice is not straight. And if the intensity is very, very strong, it leads to romancha. Or romancha, when all the bodily hair that stands on end, it just stands straight. So this is what happens. So these 8 symptoms, to repeat once again, they are stamba, or being stunned. So that's caused when the devotee experiences delight or astonishment or fear. Then number 2 is shweta, or perspiration, when the devotee goes through the emotions of extreme delight or extreme rage. The devotee is in no control of what feelings they are going through when they are in this transcendental mood. Or it can be romancha, when when the devotee has again extreme enthusiasm or delight. It could be swara bheda, faltering of voice. Number 5 is kampa, or shivering, when the devotee starts shivering because of this ecstasy. Number 6 could be vaivarna, or fading of one's bodily color. And then it could be ashru, that involuntary tears. Tears just come automatically. Or it could be pralaya, or devastation. And devastation, what does that mean? It means when the devotee, when that spiritual joy is so overpowering, that, it takes over the consciousness, and the devotee is unable to move or think or act in any way, and just is in a state of paralysis. So that is what happens when such symptoms takes place. And these are the symptoms that Akrura was showing. And Vidura mentions that these were the symptoms that Akrura was showing when he was rolling on that dust, just by looking at Lord Krishna's footprints on the dust of Vraja, even before seeing Lord Krishna. And then from Akrura, we are also reminded in the Purport, we are said that these are the symptoms that even Mahaprabhu, he experienced and he showed. And we are given many references in Chaitanya Charitamrita about that. We are told in Madhya Lila, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 13, from verse 101 until verse 1, more or less until verse 114. And we are told over here that Mahaprabhu, when he got, when he got really ecstatic, and he would just, he was 7 foot tall, very, very tall. And he would jump, he would just sing loudly and jump, and he would jump really, really high. And all of these symptoms would be visible in him. His skin would have goose pimples. His hairs on the body, the hairs on his body would just stand. All of a sudden, Mahaprabhu would just start trembling. Some of the people who saw him in this state, they would actually be frightened because Mahaprabhu's teeth, it would start clattering at times. And he would not even feel that. He would stop singing and his teeth would just clatter. And then he would perspire profusely. And at the same time, as sometimes blood would come out, in that perspiration, blood would come out. And he would just make sounds like Jaja Gaga, Jaja Gaga. I mean, he didn't even know what he was saying. And his voice would be choked, we are being told in verse 104. We are also told in the following verses that Mahaprabhu would cry. He would cry like a baby, and he would cry loudly, and sometimes he would cry softly, but the tears would just fall down his face uncontrollably, or uncontrollably rather, sorry. They just came out, and we are told in Chaitanya Charitamrita that sometimes they would just be like a syringe. When you push a syringe and you have water or liquid coming out with force, sometimes those tears from Mahaprabhu's eyes would come out in that force, and people all around him would be completely wet. And then people would see that his body, because he was very, very light skinned, he was whitish, and sometimes the color of his skin would change from white to pink. And it was so that he resembled the beautiful Malika flower, the pinkish Malika flower. Sometimes Mahaprabhu would be completely stunned, and then he would start rolling on the ground, and his hands and legs would just become like dry, like a wood, and he did not move at all. And then sometimes he would just stop breathing. And we know of that famous pastime when he was in ecstasy and he was in Jagannath Puri, and he didn't even realize he was, he was drowning in the ocean. It was only when a fisherman found him and he brought him back. He didn't even realize, and the fisherman thought he was dead, but no, he was, just showing symptoms of ecstasy, and he was in a state of paralysis, almost unconscious. He didn't move at all. That is how he would behave. He would be. Sometimes foam would come out of his mouth. And some of his pure devotees, like Swarup Damoda, or there was a devotee called Shubhananda, and he would actually just take that foam as as Amrit, and he would take it because you know, anyone who takes anything from you know, the Lord himself, immediately they also feel that ecstatic love. And so Mahaprabhu would dance, he would dance like a mad person at time, and he wouldn't even notice what was going around him. And at such times, there was his close associates, the Nitya Siddhas, especially, you know, Swarup Damodar, Ramananda Rai, who were with him, especially during his last years when he were in the Gambhira stage. They would try and control him. And then some people also ask, Mahaprabhu came in the mood of Radharani. So why did we also have Gadadhar Pandit, who's an incarnation of Radharani, but he's in, you know, he had to be in the form of a man so that he could be Mahaprabhu's associate, because you know, and could be with Mahaprabhu because Mahaprabhu took sannyas, and as a sannyas, he didn't allow himself to be surrounded by women. So Gadadhar Pandit would be there. So some people ask that why did Radharani had to take incarnation again, because Mahaprabhu had already come in the mood of Radharani. But the reason is because when Mahaprabhu went into these ecstasies, it was Gadadhar Pandit as well, because Radharani, nobody knows better than Radharani how to manage Krishna. Because Krishna would go into ecstatic mood when he saw Radharani. He would, you know, praise Radharani, and he would go into that ecstatic mood of love. And nobody knew how to manage Krishna at that time, apart from Radharani. So Gadadhar Pandit was very much needed in Chaitanya Leela, so that he could take care of Mahaprabhu along with other close associates. So these are the ecstatic symptoms, we are told, and this is what Vidura was referring to. So when he talked about Akrura, you know, showing such ecstatic symptoms, these were the ecstatic symptoms that is felt by true devotees. And we are told by telling us that Akrura actually felt and experienced these ecstatic symptoms. We are told over here that how pure a devotee Akrura was, and how pure a devotee Vidura is. Vidura was so that he could realize that, you know, Akrura showed such ecstatic symptoms, and what a pure devotee he was. And we are also encouraged to lift arms. So especially when visiting dhams or visiting Vrindavan, we are encouraged to meditate on such moods, meditate on how Akrura felt, meditate on what Vidura felt, meditate on what Mahaprabhu felt, and, you know, try to think of Krishna and have devotional love in our hearts, and not just visit the dhams just as tourist places, but visit them as places where we will be connected with Krishna. We can directly come in contact with Krishna in person. That is the mood we have to be in at all times. And we are reminded of that once again in this verse. And we are encouraged to move away from our very, very mechanical way of worshiping. You know, many a times it's like getting up in the morning, doing the Mangalarati, doing the various aratis, having prasadam, doing the service. It becomes mechanical. So we are encouraged not to do mechanical love, not to have a mechanical love towards Krishna, but feel that love. Think of Krishna to be as one of our own, and have this feeling of rasa, have this exchange of devotional love between us and Krishna. If we take one step, Krishna says he will take 10 steps. So if we make that tiny bit of endeavor, because that devotion, we have to start it. We have to show Krishna. Krishna by default loves us. Even if we don't tell Krishna, he loves us. But if we show a little bit of encouragement, if we show a little bit of love towards Krishna, Krishna shows a whole lot of love towards us. And that is how these devotees who are able to experience such ecstatic love, that is how they were able to do so, because they felt completely connected with Krishna, because they had that huge love towards Krishna, love as being the pure devotee of Krishna, as a servant of Krishna, having that relationship with Krishna. And that is what we are being told over here as well, reminded over here as well, so that we can learn from such great devotees and try to practice our devotion in that way. So apologies, I went a couple of minutes over time. If I've made any mistakes, please do forgive me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for this excellent session today, and taking us from bhava to prema. And you know, we know about the various stages, yama, niyama, pranayam, pratyahara, and the rest. And then we never knew what prema was and what it is to be in bhava. So thank you so much for taking us through these 8 steps, eight symptoms of it, being stunned, perspiring, hair standing up. I thought the word romance comes from this, probably, romance. And then feeling of faltering of the voice, trembling, and then tears, and fading of the color of your skin, tears, and then at the end being totally devastated. So thank you so much. It's good to know. So probably it will, I don't know whether we will ever experience these symptoms. At least I have a long way to go. But for devotees on the group, if they experience these symptoms, they know that now they are transiting from bhava to prema. So thank you for this wonderful session. If there are any questions or comments, kindly unmute and ask, please. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna everyone. Please kindly accept my humble obeisances. So good to Srila Prabhupada. So I have a question. So yes. I hear often people say, don't do your seva mechanically. I don't know what does that mean, because if we go to temple every day, we are doing people. There are so many devotees. Like if we take Zamana, Kritika knows how many devotees are there serving the Lord in and out from 4 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. So they have to do the same thing, same process, going and going. And is that mechanical? Because at home also we do the same. We wake up in the morning, we chant, we take care of our deities, we cook, we serve. So I don't understand what is this word mechanical means, because this is a way. It's like 1, 2, 3, you go every morning, wake up, chant, have shower, and go on like this. So is that mechanical?
Thank you, Mataji, for the question, and apologies if it came across as wrong. I think what is being, again, correct me, Mataji, if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that mechanical doesn't mean the actual action. Because the action is external, but it's mechanical in consciousness, mechanical in thoughts. So if the same act can be done every single day, but there could be someone who's doing it out of love, and there's someone else doing it because they have to do it. So it's not mechanical as in the external action, because we all do that, but it's in the mood, and that is it's the mood and the consciousness. And right at the beginning, what we were being told as well about visiting Vrindavan, Vrindavan it's a physical place, but it's more than being a physical place. It's also a state of mind. It's a state of consciousness. So my understanding is when we are being warned about not being mechanical in our devotional practice, it is our mood we are being encouraged to check, the consciousness with which we are serving the lordships. That is what we are being asked to check, rather than the actual thing. Because even even any act, even cleaning the temple room, someone can do it because they really want to serve the Lord. Or someone may just clean the temple room because they just have to do it. So it's the action. But I'm not sure if I'm completely right. So I encourage, if anybody else has any other thoughts, please do share.
But I think, Mataji, many people use this word mechanical. I heard one Maharaj saying that there is nothing as mechanical. If somebody is doing it, suppose somebody is being paid to clean the temple, suppose the person will come and clean the temple and go. But slowly, slowly, that love would start from there. I'm cleaning, I'm getting paid, yes. I have to do my job, yes. But I clean 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. And then at some point, that person will start thinking, this is a Lord. So I have to do it with some love, with some attention, with some precaution, not to damage things or do it properly. So slowly, slowly it will come. But this word mechanical, I don't get it. I don't get it.
No, I understand, Mataji.
Anyway, I'm not challenging what you have just said, but just if we use this big word, it can scare some people. Yes, you have to start somewhere. We start somewhere. Everyone has started somewhere. Let's go slowly, slowly. But it will change our mood. It will definitely change our mood. If somebody has just started Krishna consciousness, or is saying everybody is in the morning is chanting, let me chant. They may chant, even advanced devotees, their mind is gone here and there. But let them. People say you're chanting mechanically, you are doing this mechanically. This word, I think we should not be using. We should encourage people. Okay, you are doing it, but put your love in it. Put your love in it. And then they will understand where they stand, where they should go.
Thank you, Mataji. Such a wonderful point. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Thank you for your nice class, by the way. We from Akrura, we went Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all the way through. So nice.
Well, I didn't say anything. It's all the mercy of my Guru. It's all the mercy of Radha and Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. I know we have exceeded our time, so let us end the session. Let us all chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra once in glorification of Panchali Kar Mataji. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Vasinubhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Grantaraj Madhagwatam ki jai, Ananda Koti Vaishnavim ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Guru Maharaj ki jai, Mataji Panchali Kar ki jai, Adurat Yakara ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
The assembled devotees, Hariba.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Mataji. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, we have a new devotee who has joined Eastern Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the
Krishna.
group. Sorry, I
Thank
didn't
you.
Can we chant
okay.
3 Hari Bols to welcome you?
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Thank you for joining. Probably keep joining. It will be nice. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Welcome to the group. Thank you.
We meet every day at the same time, same group. So please, whenever feel welcome to join the group, and your association will really enhance our understanding as well. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
All right.
And
Thank you very much.
Please don't be scared to ask questions whenever you don't understand something. We are here to explain. Okay.
All right. I'll be questioning in case I have a question.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Prabhuji
Hare
and
Krishna.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.